Jude Bellingham's 50th England appearance was supposed to be a milestone night. A proud moment. A record-breaking moment. A night where one of England's biggest stars stepped onto the World Cup stage and made history. But instead, the headlines were not about the record. They were about anger, shouting, a furious halftime row, and a chaotic tunnel confrontation that saw Ghana boss Carlos Queiroz appear to chase Bellingham off the pitch. England's tense World Cup clash with Ghana in Boston ended goalless, but the drama around Jude Bellingham was anything but quiet. Because just before halftime, one cynical challenge lit the fuse. And what followed was one of the most heated scenes of England's tournament so far. England came into this Group L World Cup clash hoping to make a statement. Thomas Tuchel's side had the talent, the expectation, and the pressure that always follows the Three Lions at a major tournament. But Ghana were not there to make life easy. The Black Stars frustrated England from the start. They stayed compact, battled hard, and refused to give Tuchel's side any rhythm. By the time the first half was coming to an end, England had failed to register a single shot on target. The frustration was growing. Then came the moment that changed the mood completely. Just before the halftime whistle, Jude Bellingham barged into Jerome Opoku near the dugouts. It was described as a cynical late foul, the kind of challenge that immediately gets players, coaches, and substitutes shouting from the sidelines. Ghana were furious, but Bellingham escaped without a yellow card. And that decision only poured more fuel on an already tense situation. As the players and coaches began heading toward the tunnel, Bellingham got into an explosive argument with Ghana coach John Paintsil. The exchange quickly turned ugly. Both men appeared to shout F, U, and F off at one another as tempers boiled over. This was no calm disagreement. This was raw emotion, right on the edge of the pitch, with players and staff from both sides suddenly pulled into the confrontation. And then Ghana manager Carlos Queiroz got involved. Queiroz, the experienced boss and former assistant to Sir Alex Ferguson, appeared to make comments toward Bellingham and then tried to get after him as the argument continued. But before things could escalate even further, members of Ghana's own backroom staff held him back. On the England side, assistant coach Anthony Barry and Bellingham's close friend Morgan Rogers stepped in to calm the midfielder down. Rogers appeared to protect his teammate as the argument continued, while Noni Madueke was also seen getting involved during the heated scene. For England, this was exactly the kind of flashpoint they did not need. A difficult first half, no shots on target, growing Ghana confidence. And now their No-10 was in the middle of a furious confrontation that could easily have spiraled. But the bigger twist was still to come. Because this was not just another appearance for Bellingham. This was his 50th cap for England. And at just 22 years and 359 days old, he broke Wayne Rooney's record to become the youngest man ever to reach that milestone for the national team. It should have been a night focused on achievement. Instead, it became a night of controversy. Before kickoff, there had actually been a positive moment for England. Thomas Tuchel was smiling after FIFA changed its World Cup protocols and moved photographers out of the way during the national anthems. That gave him a clear view of his squad as they belted out God Save the King. But once the match started, England could not turn emotion into control. Ghana's defense stood firm. England struggled to break them down. And the longer the game went on, the more the frustration showed. Tuchel tried to change it. He turned to the bench, bringing on Bukayo Saka, Nico O'Reilly, Eberechi Eze, and Morgan Rogers. Bellingham was among the players withdrawn. But even those changes could not unlock Ghana. England pushed, adjusted, and searched for a breakthrough, but the goal never came. The match finished 0-0, and by the final whistle, the biggest talking point was not England's attack. It was Bellingham's temper. The halftime confrontation was dramatic enough, but Bellingham had another moment that could have brought even more trouble. Before being substituted, the Real Madrid midfielder was pictured seemingly covering his mouth while speaking to Jordan Ayew. At this World Cup, that detail matters. Under a controversial rule, any player covering their mouth in a confrontational situation with an opponent may be sanctioned with a red card. Earlier in the tournament, former Newcastle player Miguel Almiron became the first player dismissed under that rule during Paraguay's match against Turkey. So, when Bellingham was seen with his hand near his mouth while speaking to Ayew, it immediately raised questions. Was it confrontational? Would officials look at it again? Could England's No-10 have risked a sending off on a night already filled with tension? In the end, Bellingham avoided punishment. But the image added another layer to a difficult night for England's star midfielder. This was the same player celebrating a record-breaking 50th cap. The same player expected to carry England in the biggest moments. Yet here he was, at the center of a foul, a furious argument, a touchline flare-up, and a potential rules controversy. And that is what made the night so striking. England did not lose, but they did not convince. Bellingham did not get sent off, but he walked a dangerous line. Ghana did not score, but they frustrated England physically, tactically, and emotionally. For Tuchel, this was not just a 0-0 draw, it was a warning. At the World Cup, control matters, discipline matters, and one emotional moment can become the story of the entire match. When England walked off the pitch in Boston, the scoreline said 0-0, but the drama told a much louder story. Jude Bellingham made history as England's youngest male player to reach 50 caps. Yet his milestone night was overshadowed by confrontation, frustration, and a fiery row with Ghana's bench. Carlos Queiroz had to be held back. Morgan Rogers stepped in to calm his friend. Noni Madueke appeared to get involved. And England were left with more questions than answers after failing to register a single shot on target in the first half and failing to find a breakthrough after the break. For Ghana, it was a disciplined, defiant performance. For England, it was a reminder that talent alone does not win World Cup matches. And for Bellingham, it was a night that showed both sides of the spotlight. The record will stand. The milestone will matter. But the image fans will remember may not be the celebration of 50 caps. It may be Bellingham, furious near the tunnel, in the middle of a World Cup flashpoint that nearly exploded. England, move on. But this controversy will not disappear quietly.